What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Northeast Outdoors video. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about how to catch spawning smallmouth. Now, before we get into this video, I just want to preface it by saying that you can probably catch the same bedded fish all day. And since it's trying to guard its eggs, it's not going to spook away too far. It's probably going to stay in the same spot the entire time. However, I think it's important to only catch one fish at a time. If you catch one fish on a bed, leave that alone. If you have a group of friends, just have a rotation going. Say who gets the next fish. Don't all catch the same fish at one time. Just keep continuously moving on to the next fish. You don't need to catch the same one. There's plenty of fish, plenty of beds. You're just gonna stress that thing out a ton and it's not gonna be good for it. It doesn't look good as a fisherman anyways. But let's get right into the video, starting with lure selection. Now, the best bed fishing lure is gonna be something that you can work slowly and off the bottom. Anything that's going to imitate some type of creature or fish that's going to be preying on the fry or eggs anyway is something you want to be throwing. Now, here's my rotation when I pull up to my first bed. Now, to start it off, I always throw a Ned rig. Ned rigs are very easy to work off the bottom. They stand up on their head, so it looks like something nose down feeding on their bed or something. Imitates prey fish very well. Very easy to work slowly. Just a great all-around choice. Now, if the Ned rig doesn't work, I'll move on to my tungsten ice jig, and on the jig, I'll have a small paddle tail on it. This also imitates a very small bait fish or something that might be trying to feed on the eggs or little minnows that the bass are guarding. Now, if that doesn't work either, I'll move on to a bass jig. This is gonna imitate some type of panfish, like a sunfish or perch. You can even imitate a crawfish. All things that are gonna be trying to get at this bass's eggs, and all things that the bass is gonna wanna grab and move off their bed. Now, those are my three, but other things you could throw as well are drop shots, weightless creature baits, or Texas rig creature baits. Any type of stick bait or Senko as well is gonna work very well. Now, when it comes to finding beds, smallmouth like to bed on the main lake, unlike largemouth that will move into coves, into the warmer areas. Smallmouth will bed on these main lake flats or any type of shoreline that drops off very slowly. Now, on the flats, they can be anywhere, but typically you're gonna find them around the edges, around the last point where it starts to drop off into deeper water. Now, on gradual drop-offs, they'll usually be closer to the shoreline or wherever the water reaches about 10 feet. Now, 10 feet is gonna be the sweet spot for your smallmouth beds. This is typically where you're gonna find the majority of them. You can find them at 5 feet, you can find them at 15 feet, but odds are you're gonna find most of your beds around the 10-foot mark. Now, also keep in mind, some of these beds won't have fish on them. It's not a 100% guarantee that you're gonna have a fish on every single bed. So before you pull all the way up to the bed, make sure you're standing up, have your boat drift over the bed, and before the fish has a chance to spook, make sure you're looking for it to make sure that there is a fish on this bed. Now, what I'll do is I'll locate one of these flats or gradual drop-offs, and I'll slowly cruise around the shoreline or around the flat edges where it starts to get deep. And this whole time I'm standing up, I have polarized glasses on, I'm scanning the entire area, looking for a little sand circle. That's what the beds are gonna look like. Now, typically they're gonna stand out from everything around them. They're gonna be a lot cleaner, a lot brighter looking. It's gonna be pretty easy to spot these things. Now, if you keep moving, it's gonna be a great way to cover a lot of water, find a lot of different beds, see a lot of different fish, and in a pretty quick manner. After you find one bed in one area, you should look around the same type of area. There's usually more than one bed in a specific place. Now, once you find a bed with a fish on it, it's time to start working it. Now, first off, if there's any type of wind, you want to position yourself upwind of where the bed is and anchor, so that way you don't need to keep repositioning every time and risk spooking that fish and having to wait for it to come all the way back to its bed. It's going to waste a lot of time, so just anchor up, and from there, you can start throwing your lures. Now, you want to be close enough to see the fish, but far away enough to where the fish isn't stressed out by your presence. On these deeper beds, you can get away with being pretty close to the bed because the fish are deeper. They won't be as wary of you. Now, once you're in position, you start to throw your lures. Now, when you're casting to these, you're going to want to cast a little bit past where you think the bed is. The refraction of the water is going to make the bed seem like it's closer. You're going to want to cast over it pretty far because you're going to want to work this thing throughout the entire bed. The longer you can stay on the bed, the better, because typically your strike zone is going to be within the parameters of this bed. If you're outside of the bed, it might not even try and chase you. Now, sometimes you'll find a very aggressive fish that's going to be constantly chasing you. And typically you'll get these ones on the first couple drops. They're very aggressive. They're going to pick up your bait and try and move it right off their bed. Other times you'll find ones that will move slowly up to your bait. They'll nose it, they'll back away. These are the fish that are a little bit warier, and these are the fish that are going to take a little bit more work to catch. Now, 5 to 10 minutes has gone by and the fish isn't showing too much interest in my Ned rig that I'm throwing first. I'll switch it up to a smaller bait, which is going to be my tungsten jig. Now, if this doesn't work, again, after another 5 to 10 minutes, I'm gonna switch to my bigger presentation, which would be my typical bass jig. And if after another 5 to 10 minutes, it's still not being aggressive, it doesn't show too much interest, I'm just gonna move on to another fish. There's a lot more fish to catch. You're gonna be wasting your time trying to catch one of these that probably won't even end up biting your lure. Typically, I'm not spending any more time than 20 minutes at a single bed. Again, there's always more fish to catch and more aggressive ones at that. Now, if you find a pair of 2 on a bed, typically you're only gonna catch the male. The male is the one that's doing the guarding, the female is nurturing the eggs, laying them. Now, it's best to just catch 1 fish off of these kinds of beds, because you're gonna catch usually the male, you're gonna let it go, it's gonna go back down to the bed, and you're gonna be trying to catch the female, and the male is gonna keep just attacking this bait because that's the one that does the defending. So it's best to just get 1 fish and then move on. If you keep fishing it, you're just gonna end up keep catching the same fish, and that's just not really what you wanna do. Now, bed fishing is pretty simple. You just have to know where to look for the fish. Like I said in the beginning, stay respectful to the fish and make sure to put them back quickly, get your pictures, but don't keep them out for more than 30 seconds. You want them to be able to get back down there to the bed, and you don't want to stress them out more than you have to. Now, some people will tell you that bed fishing is just not a good way to fish, and they'll try to say anything they can to discourage you away from it. But as long as you're staying respectful to the fish, I really don't see an issue with bed fishing. It's a great way to catch a good amount of decent sized fish, and it's a great way to get new people into fishing, as it's pretty simple to do. So as long as you're following some morals, it's really no issue with it. Anyways, if you want to see some videos of bed fishing, I have one on my channel, and I have a couple more that are coming up within the next week or 2. Make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for that. And leave a like and comment if you found this useful. Tell me what you liked about this video, maybe what you didn't like about this video. But I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you on the next one.